Hello everyone, my name is Ivet, and today I'm going to talk about reading food labels. They can be super confusing, especially when you're on a keto diet. And since I'm a fan of intermittent fasting and the keto diet, I decided to put years of my know-how in this video, sharing 3 main tips on how to correctly read food labels without being tricked by the food companies. Also, watch till the end since I'll give you 5 lists of ingredients to avoid. Oh gosh, this is so exciting. First of all, let's make it clear. This video is not only if you're on a keto diet or just diving into it. It's for all who want to make the right food choices. And it starts with understanding how food labels work and how misleading they can be. Research shows that nearly 59% of consumers have a hard time understanding food labels. And I don't want you to be one of them, all right? I can tell you from my own experience, there are too many people counting calories and not enough people counting chemicals, especially when food companies play dirty and use misleading tricks to convince people to buy highly processed and unhealthy products. So, how to correctly understand food labels? Let's get into it. My tip number 1, ignore claims on the front of food packaging. Fat-free, organic, all natural, that's all crap. Most front labels try to make healthy statements and lure you into purchasing the product. Even research shows that adding health claims to the front of labels makes people believe that the product is healthier. Here you can see the list of the most common claims on the packages that you really need to pay attention to and consider as red flags. Save it for the future and stay critical about such labels. Tip number 2, study the ingredients list on the back of the package. The ingredients of the product are listed by quantity, from highest to the lowest amount. The first ingredient is what the food manufacturer used the most. I always watch for the first 3 ingredients because they make up the biggest part of what you'll be eating. If you notice that the first ingredient includes sugar, refined grains, or hydrogenated oil, you need to put that right back on the shelf. These ingredients show that the product is unhealthy. Also, an ingredient list that is longer than 2 to 3 lines shows that the product is highly processed. Tip number 3, check the serving sizes. Serving size is the first piece of information listed on the label. It's the amount of food that is typically eaten at one time. And it's the tricky part, because the serving size is not a recommendation of how much to eat or drink. One package of food may contain more than 1 serving size. For example, 1 serving may be half a can of soda, a quarter of a cookie, or a single biscuit. Many people are unaware of the serving size scheme, thinking that the entire package is a single serving. And the truth is, it may consist of 2, 3, or even more servings. These are the main tips that always help me and hopefully will help you to read the product labels correctly. But that's not it. Here comes the trickiest part: ingredients to avoid. When it comes to specific ingredients, food manufacturers become really creative. Most of them are trying to hide the real names of ingredients by changing them to more delicate yet confusing names. So, to make it easier for you, I excluded 3 main ingredients to look for when buying packaged goods: sugar, starch, and industrial fats. Let's start with sugar. This bastard has tons of sneaky names. That's the game the food companies play. When they call sugar different names, you are more willing to buy a specific product. But if the label doesn't scream sugar, it doesn't mean the product doesn't include it. To make it easier for you, here's a list of what names of sugar can appear in an ingredients list on packaged foods. Some food manufacturers will even use a couple of different kinds of sugar in a product so that it will have less of each kind. They list these sugary ingredients basically at the bottom of the ingredients list. Another thing to remember, sometimes special sugars are listed by their scientific name or as a natural ingredient, like maple syrup. So check this list and watch out for these as well. You don't have to get obsessed with limiting sugar to an absolute 0, but remember, sugar is sugar. If you want to reach the best results and stay healthy, it needs to be limited in all forms. Another ingredient to avoid: starch. When you're on a low-carb diet, you need to limit or completely avoid refined starch. I prefer cutting starch out from my menu completely. So I stay away from grains, almost all kinds of flour. Don't get me wrong, coconut or almond flour is completely fine for low-carb bakes. But if you're just like me trying to avoid starch at all costs, here is a list of ingredients to watch out for. Did you take a screenshot of that list? All right, let's move forward. Another ingredient bastard is industrial fats. Okay guys, this one is serious. Industrial fats are also known as artificial trans fats. Trans fats are made when food makers turn liquid oils into solid fats, like shortening or margarine. I strongly suggest you completely avoid those. Trans fats are banned in Europe and are also in the process of being eliminated from the US food supply. Why? Because there are serious concerns about their health effects. Trans fats seriously increase your bad cholesterol level, leading to a higher risk of heart disease and stroke. Also, industrial fats are used, for instance, in soaps, certain plastics, even tires. I think that says it all. We want you to be safe and healthy. So here's a list of fats that need to be avoided at all costs. Keep in mind that food companies can list 0 grams if it contains less than 0.5 grams of trans fat per serving. This means that your food may have trans fat even if the nutrition label says 0. Don't sweat about the small amounts of naturally occurring trans fats in whole foods like meat and butter. I'm talking about the artificial trans fats that you need to avoid. Woo! That was one hell of a ride understanding food labels, but hopefully I gave you the most necessary information that will lead you to healthier choices. Thanks for watching, smash that subscribe button, and stay healthy.